In a world where dragons fly and the dead roam the earth, one last-ditch attempt is made to unite the forces of humanity to stand together against the darkness. Old acquaintances are reunited and secrets are revealed as we look into the season finale of Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 7, The Dragon and the Wolf. Hey everyone, D here, and yes, here we are. It is the big season finale of Game of Thrones. So yeah, a lot of spoilers. Lots of spoilers. They're coming up right now. So, what an ender. Extended episode this week, 79 minutes. Longest Game of Thrones episode yet. And they packed it full of just yummy goodness from beginning to end. The fact that they start things up with the big meet in Dragon's Pit, I love. No build up, no anything. Let's just get right to the action. Everyone showing up. Really impressive seeing the army show up outside of King's Landing and all of the Dothraki, and then we've got the ships coming in and we got the army standing up against each other. It was really impressive. Bronn was really right when he was just staring down. It's like, we need more barrels. Great characters interacting. We get a lot of people coming back together. We've got wonderful scene between Bronn and Tyrion, their little catch-up. Love the moment between the Hound and Brienne, kind of having their little feedback there, and yet kind of let them know they're both on the same side. I love the point about Arya, as they were both trying to protect her, and now Brienne's like, yeah, the only one that needs protection is the one that stands against her. So that was all beautiful. Even we had a little Bronn and Podrick meeting up for some drinks there at the end, and of course, the Hound and the Mountain meeting each other once more. So I think we had like the most characters all in one place, all meeting together for the first time that we've had in the show. So really, just an impressive opening scene. The reveal for the White Walker, or the White, rather, really nice. I love the delay, especially that they sort of had hinted at that he was still active in there with that scene early on the ship with the Hound knocking the chest. So now when the chest is all opened up and all kind of scary and the different marks and the pulls and the livers and nothing happened. It was a beautiful pregnant pause right there, just waiting for it to go. Because once it does, it was all on. Scary, frightening, perfect reactions off of everyone, and a wonderful demonstration. I'm glad it was chained up. They thought ahead. I love the demonstration of hacking the different parts off, hacking it at half, hacking the arm off, and it's still coming, it not ending. It was a perfect, beautiful presentation of the dead right there for Cersei. So, and I have to say, by far, my favorite reaction from that was Euron's. And yes, you may say that it's cowardly. There was definitely the intrigue. Qyburn certainly took some interest in the White there, as you knew that he would. But Euron's reaction, he just walks up, he's like, do they swim? No. Great. Bye. And really, whether you can appreciate it as cowardice or not, to me that was the most natural, self-driven impulse that we saw. Was just, I've been all over the world. This is the only thing that scares me. See ya. And left. So perfect presentation, really made the point across. And then of course it all sort of falls apart because they look like they might get her. Cersei is saying fine, but the North stays neutral. And then Jon publicly, publicly proclaims for the Queen, for Dany, which was, again, nice. Nobody liked it. I thought they gave great reasons to him of why maybe you should have held off. And I think Jon gave perfect reasons back of why he shouldn't. And that kind of resonates with Jon throughout this episode. Out of here, even that little statement with Theon later on, is how much Jon is like, we can't keep lying, otherwise our word means nothing. And while that scene, of course, has all the real strong, natural, humanistic reactions, what was really powerful, of course, was not so much of Cersei deciding to leave there, but when she comes back and agrees to fight with them. And really, I think the strength for that scene comes from the two scenes that's really associated with it, both of which involve her brothers and both of which involve actually threatening her brothers' lives. The first, of course, is Tyrion. And I have to say, the imagery that we had at the opening of that bit when he goes to speak with Cersei to try and convince her to change her mind, the imagery difference between the giant mountain and little Tyrion there was astounding. I mean, really, it made a statement all right there. And we had that nice moment between Jaime and Tyrion also, when it's like, well, I guess we should say goodbye, both being idiots. Again, a lot of truth to that as things roll out. But that scene between Tyrion and Cersei, I mean, it's great, it's powerful because it really is dealing a lot with family. That's what the argument is between the two of them, and really what Tyrion sort of pushes up against is the loss of so much that she has had, plus the loss of her father. He killed her father, plus she blames him for killing his mother, their mother. So, there was a lot of emotion there. And I was amazed when Tyrion decided to try and push Cersei, because he couldn't get any logic. He couldn't discuss anything through her. He couldn't say anything that was going to get through. So I think that decision to finally say, fine, just end me. If this is the big thing, if this is the problem that you're going against, end it. And it was, again, it was terrifying because you could see for that moment, and why wouldn't Cersei do it? And that's where the power really comes into all of these scenes, because she doesn't. And it seems to apply for that idea of family, that even though she has lost so much, and Tyrion himself has cost her so much directly or indirectly in her eye, the fact that she's not willing to take him out, but then willing to actually listen to him and have that little discussion, that gives that sign. So when he figures out that due to her reaction, she must be pregnant again, that is a maternal response. That's what was so encouraging when she decided to come back and look at everyone and say, yes, count me in. Well, I'm going to send my army with you. We're not going to fight. We're going to stand together against the dead. We're thinking, oh my God, that is her maternal instinct coming into play. Except it's Cersei, and her maternal instinct is very akin to that of a black widow or a praying mantis, both of which involve killing the father, which is sort of what plays into the following scene, of course, because when she has that discussion with Jaime towards the end, and he's all ready to do what she said she was going to, and she was like, no, of course I'm not going to back up there. I love the fact that Euron was not going to run away, but going to get the golden arm, the mercenaries over there in Essos. I thought that was just... See, that's Cersei playing. All this scene, suddenly we're like, okay, now this makes sense. This is what we expect Cersei to do. To stab in the back, not to agree. This all makes sense. And then when Jaime stands against her, no, man, what are you talking about? And this is where Jaime's moment kind of really steps in, because we can really see that Jaime is there for life. While he's there for family, while he wants to support, while he loves Cersei and wants to be a father and do all of those things, he realizes that if we're all dead, that's not going to mean anything. He has to fight for life first. And that's when she has actually, when he says, go ahead and do it, and she actually has the mountain draw on Jaime. That didn't even happen with Tyrion. So that's what was the astounding moment there. Is once she draws, that is the split now between the two of them, which is why Jaime ends up riding north all by himself, not within an army. He gets out, was sort of surprised, and pleasantly surprised, that the mountain didn't kill him while he was trying to exit. So now we have the total split, and we're really seeing that is Cersei's motivation. It's all for herself. All of those previous scenes were just to play for time, play for maneuvering, play for power, wait things out. With Jaime, she was at least honest, and now we know. Cersei and the army are staying in the south, just going to wait for whatever finishes up in the north, and then try and deal with that when it's all done. And Jaime, of course, is going to be right up there in Winterfell, all alone. That's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, in Winterfell, awesomeness happens. Oh, I was so pleased. Oh, I was so happy. Oh, it was so nicely done. I loved it. Okay, so the whole hope that yes, was Sansa and Arya, were they doing something together? Were they figuring things out? Were they setting Peter up? Yes, yes they were, and it was perfectly done. Such a nice setup. I mean, really, we had the whole manipulation. We had that great scene between Sansa and Littlefinger. We're all like, oh my God, Sansa, no man, no girl, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't fall for him. Don't, no. And it literally looks like it is. And we got all the guards around, and they bring Arya in, and she's looking around like, oh, you've got to have your backup here. Are you sure you want to do this? She's like, yes, I'm sure. All right, let's get ready. So now you're stand of treason, Peter. That was just, that smooth look over. And then I got to give it, man. Baelish played it perfectly. The pause of just, it was, I loved it. It was just wonderful. That scene made me so happy that Bran was actually doing something and wasn't just sitting in the corner looking at the wall. The wall up north, it kind of plays both ways. Anyway, it was just, I was so pleased with that. It was beautifully done. I thought it was wonderfully played. We definitely have the sisters together. We finally get rid of Peter Baelish. Littlefinger is dead in a perfect way. Again, and Arya just wrapping that up with just the walk up and walk back and boom, like it was nothing. That is, of course, my scene of the week because it was just so full of frickin' awesomeness. I got nothing else to say. They perfectly wrapped it up at the end with the two girls standing up on the ramparts overlooking Winterfell. And we see Arya never wanted to be Lady of Winterfell. That has never been her interest. That has been Sansa's. And now they have the perfect bailing. We have Sansa, slow learner, but she learns. I love that moment there too. Humility in self, always important for character evolution. But they're ready to lead Winterfell, where at the same time we have Arya, who is ready to be her executioner. So, man, the North is in good hands. And what else happened? Anything of significance? Oh, yeah, Bran and Sam. Speaking of Bran doing his work. Got that all wrapped up. Loved how he just walked in. It's like, Sam Tarley. It's like, oh yeah, old friends. They had that little meeting, and now it was perfectly done. And I love Sam's response of the three-eyed raven. He's like, oh, no idea what that means. No, you don't, Sam. I thought he might have read something up on it. It would have been interesting if he actually had a response of like, oh, really? I've heard of the three-eyed raven. But really the importance of that scene, of course, is the confirmation of the long-held theory of R plus L equals J, that Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark were married. And Jon is not a bastard, not a Sand from being born in Dorne, not a Snow for being up in the north, and not even Jon. But he is in fact Aegon Targaryen, named after Aegon the Conqueror. Very popular name in the Targaryen family. But obviously being named after the originator who brought the dragons over and first claimed the 5 kingdoms of Westeros, or the 7 kingdoms, sorry. I lose track sometimes. Anyway, that was really the powerful scene right there. And of course, it's interesting how it's overlaid with, of course, Jon and Dany hooking up, which we knew that they would. They had sparks flying throughout the episode. Not surprising there. Yes, since he's a Targaryen, yes, he would be her nephew. She would be his aunt. There's a little bit of incest there. That happens with Targaryens. I'm not going to claim any justification or okay for it. Either way, it's how the story is being laid out. That's obviously going to lay some interesting conversations forward once they tell Jon, because he has to know, which he does. But of course, it may not mean anything because this may make Dany pregnant, so they may have a child together. I mean, this is where things get all really kind of interesting in that sense. But really what's most important is that this long-held theory, this long-held idea has been revealed. That does make him the crown prince, so he is actually the proper heir, even more so than Dany is. So that's, like I said, there's going to be some complications that are going to be going on top of that. And what this also means, more important than any of that, is that Robert's rebellion was for a lie. Robert Baratheon led his rebellion against the Targaryens because he thought Rhaegar had kidnapped Lyanna and raped her. And that's when he went after her, because he was in love with Lyanna more so than the woman that he was promised to. But all that's a lie if Lyanna, in fact, was not kidnapped, but willingly married Rhaegar because he had his marriage annulled, and then they got married and had a legitimate child who is now heir to the throne. And what that means is Robert's rebellion based on a lie, and that's going to throw everything in chaos. Whether that actually means anything for Cersei, no, it doesn't. She doesn't care. But that will get the rest of the lords of Westeros possibly behind Dany, or even more so, behind Aegon. And of course, the big final ending, what we've been waiting for for seasons. Finally, the White Walkers show up to the wall. Yay, man, it's only taken a couple of years. However, they also have the risen dragon Viserys, who, while there was suspect might be blowing out ice, no, just a very cold fire, a blue fire. I guess really just blue. Because it's doing the same thing to the ice that the dragon fire was doing to the ice when they were attacking the walkers and going against the lake. It just blasted apart. So the loss of Viserys not only gives a dragon to the Night King, but that dragon is the key for taking down the wall in that beautiful shot. Oh, that was just, I mean, this is the way to end the season right here. Beautifully done. Impressive, scary, a whole wall coming down. Tormund, I'm pretty sure he got away. It looks like they were blasting out the wall. They're really more next to Eastwatch as opposed to right in front of, right through Eastwatch. And we didn't really see Tormund die. And he's a pretty major character since he was able to get away from the White Walkers last episode. I'm assuming he got away here since we didn't really see his death in a dramatic manner. So he'll survive. He'll probably be bringing the word back down to Winterfell that the wall has fallen, and that is going to have to, of course, rally the troops in that way. Unfortunately, the White Walkers will be battling the Denizens of the North and sucking up their dead bodies into their ranks as it goes on. So they're just going to start swelling in numbers drastically at this point. Oh, and lastly, just real quick, I guess it paid off finally tonight for Theon not to have a dick. I liked the scene between Theon and Jon. While Theon annoys me, I did thought that was a really powerful kind of sweet moment between he and Jon, how much Jon hates him, but even him willing to give a certain level of forgiveness, knowing how important it is for everyone to stand against the wall, put their differences aside, to stand against the Night King, and sort of move on. I also loved his line back to her when Theon's talking about getting Yara, and Jon's like, well then what the hell are you still doing talking to me? I thought that was perfect. That inspired Theon on to go and rally his men, go after his last little fight. Look, Theon should have gotten his butt kicked. Even that last little win thing of just a couple of knees to the nuts, to be able to take the big guy down when he's barely done any... I didn't buy that whole second win bit. I liked that it was done. I liked that Theon was ready to rally the people, and especially rally the Iron Islanders to rescue Yara. That is his goal. I like the fact that he is dedicated to that. That might give something for Theon to sort of make up for all of his stuff. I still think, ultimately, when he was staring down the guy, he should have just knifed to the throat, and that would have ended it. The fight, he should have fought it a little bit more, because as much as he got beaten down, just the surprise of not feeling the nuts hit because he's got no nuts to hit, I don't think that was enough to sort of turn around. It inspired Theon, that was fine, but from a choreography-wise, it just should have been a little bit more. But good for him. Alright, so that's going to cover everything for tonight, and that's it for our season. Now, season 8, next season, the final season, is only going to be 6 episodes. and we are hoping it's next year. There might be some delays, so it might be later on, might be next summer, could be fall, could be the following spring. We don't know yet. Hopefully we will find out news as soon as we can. But it's going to be amazing because we've got the Night King down. He's got the reawakened Viserys with him blowing out the blue fire of death. So we got 2 dragons on one side, this 1 dragon plus the dead. We've got Cersei ignoring everyone, standing alone by herself. We've got Jaime riding up north, going to stand next to his little brother, fighting the dead. So we've got a lot of action coming up. Really going to deal with probably the dead and such. Now, I do have a theory, and I want to throw this out here real quick. There is a theory that Bran is the Night King. You can look up on that one. But basically at some point he works back in time, gets to try and stop the Night King before he's ever formed, gets trapped in his body. Remember, he was warned, don't stay back for too long or you'll get lost. Anyway, inhabits his form, becomes the Night King, and that is why he's able to interact with Bran and sense him and sense whenever that he's around and so on. So that is one of the theories. If that is the case, and if you notice the Night King's kind of got little Bran's nose going on right now, there seems to be a lot of similarities there. If that is the case, my theory of how they're going to end this all is once they find out that's what happens with Bran, they'll have to kill Bran, and that will kill the Night King, and that will wipe everyone out. And then Cersei will die in childbirth. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there because she's pregnant. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's supposed to be a little brother that kills her, and if it's not Tyrion, she could die in childbirth because that would be both her child and her sibling coming out. Weird stuff. Anyway, so those are my theories of what's going to happen for next season. It should be exciting. I really cannot wait. And thank you guys so much for checking out these reviews. I just want to give out a few quick thanks, shout outs to you. Chef Jack gave a wonderful list of the rules of secession, especially along Targaryen lines, in the comments 2 episodes ago on Eastwatch. You guys should check that out if you haven't. But Chef Jack, I really appreciate that. That was an awesome bit. Also, Simba Trey, Candy Girl, Art Does Art, Playoba, Alex McMovies, Coco Baggins, Ramona Floyd, Cinny, Learned Hand, Henry DiCarlo, Sparkling Clat, 010. Very binary. Prince Marsvin. I'm horrible at this. I'm very sorry for my mispronunciation. Rob Slack, Smirking Gun, Kevin Murphy, Southeast 01, Sob Walks with Purpose, Maureen Cree, and Avatar. Thank you guys so much, and everybody else that I missed, for your comments, for your thoughts, for watching. Really appreciate it. I'm already knocking my stuff down right here, so I'm going to wrap things up. So, if you did enjoy this review, please, as always, go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, comments, toss them down in the section below. Now, you can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Darren Jakes. Big season coming up here this fall. Real quick, I'm putting a video out. You can check it out, but I'll say real quick here. Inhumans, Fear the Walking Dead, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, Mr. Robot, The Walking Dead, and then of course Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. returns in November. So lots of stuff coming up. Stick around and check that out. If you're not a subscriber, you won't miss anything by becoming one. You can do that by hitting my face right here. And I'm going to throw up a random video for you guys to check out right here. Hope it's something you like. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. I appreciate you guys so much for checking out these reviews. I am D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye.